I got that on camera.
What's good, y'all boys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Caleb Foltz, also known as CF3, and welcome back to the pod. Today I'm with my good friend, fellow content creator, and football player, Benjamin Kershaw, also known as Pac-Man Benny. He's on all platforms, so go check him out. Ben, I'll let you kind of do your own little intro.
I feel like you forgot my name for a split second.
Oh,
like,
no.
You didn't know how to introduce me. You wanted to say Ben, but then Pac Money Benny. There was quite the pause there.
The pause was actually because last time, when the last one that got cut, if you guys saw the last one, shout out to you guys, but he was like, it's Benjamin. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
No,
So
see,
I put some
I
respect.
appreciate that.
Respect.
I appreciate that, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ben, just people don't understand it immediately. So I like Benjamin now. Maybe I'm just old. I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
I'm a real life.
It's an adult name.
I'm an adult now. I'm Benjamin now.
Benjamin.
But what's going on? Pac Money Benny. Like you said, I've played 37U, semi-pro, amateur, pro development, whatever you want to call it, for the last like 12 years. But I've been doing content for the last two and a half. So that's how people know me, Pac Money Benny.
But you're
king of the 37U.
King of 37U.
King of it.
You are a pro player now, though. You kind of are a pro.
It depends on what people want to consider pro. I think I did just accept an offer for camp for a team out in Iowa, indoor team. I start camp next weekend. But until I sign that contract, I'm not going to say I'm a pro yet. But I've been offered pro contracts indoor. It's I don't know. I think we all have kind of our own definition of what pro is. If I solely rely on that salary, semi-pro. It's not really pro yet. So I don't know if I'm gonna go out there and they're gonna pay all my bills. I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
No offense to them. That's just the level that we're at. So
I mean, I think anything where you're getting paid for the work that you do, the work that you're passionate about, makes you professional. I don't think I can live off the videographer money that I make from you guys and other content creators, but like I consider myself a professional because I get paid for it.
see, and that's where I would consider you semi-professional because. But that's more if you're a college kid. So it's
okay.
I mean, you're doing multiple things. I think if you were 28 making the money you make now for videography, you might try to find something else to do because you're not making enough to pay the bills of a 28-year-old. As a 21-year-old, you're able to keep up with what you need to keep up with, still being in school. You got to go back to your mom's crib and sleep on the couch, you can go do that. I can't really go do that. I'm 35. I gotta pay all the bills.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. But again, I think it's your own definition. I think some people go overseas as a professional player. They pay enough to feed you out there, but is that making enough money here? I don't know. I've never went overseas. So
There's a guy that I just talked to you about recently. He's played like all levels of I can't remember his content creator name, but he played all levels of college ball, and he wasn't like bashing playing overseas, but he was like, if you go play overseas, it's basically equivalent to getting paid to play semi-pro in the States. And I was like, would you agree with that? Since I know you have some buddies that do go overseas and
I
play.
think it depends. People hear overseas and immediately think. I don't even know. I don't know what people think. I think you hear overseas, you think Europe. Overseas, I think some people consider Canada overseas. Some people consider, Japan is overseas. So there are different leagues. I know a guy, Dave Pendle, he plays in Japan. I'm not pocket watching, but it seems like that's all he does. So I think maybe he does make enough to play in Japan and his bills are paid. But seeing the crowd size, are you in a big arena? Is it, as big as college, NFL? Absolutely not. But I see some good high school size crowds, like a premier high school, 10,000 people. It's, I know a guy plays in Germany. He seems like they get a good crowd out there. So
the
again,
GFL is crazy. Or GLF or GFL. It's something like
in Columbus or I'm sorry, in the States or
in Germany. It's called like the GLF or the GLEF.
See, I'm not familiar with, because leagues come and go so crazy.
ELF.
What, European League football?
League of Football. But the XFL, not the XFL, the X League, in Japan, it's ranked like the number third pro league in the world.
Yeah.
And they have Under Armour jerseys. Like they have Under Armour sponsors. I mean, they seem to be doing it right over there. And two of my buddies that played D1, but they came to Mount Union. One was a quarterback, but he said the best receiver he ever played with has like a 7-year contract with the X League.
7 or 70?
7-year contract.
Oh, this
Like,
is 70.
70 years, crazy.
Jesus.
Did I say 70? I apologize, but no, 7-year contract.
70.
7-year
Yes.
contract, and he's a dog, man.
No, I really think there is legitimate talent. I mean, we talked earlier, and I think people have to understand to play in the NFL, you have to be part of the 0.00012%, whatever it is. It's a crazy number. So playing overseas doesn't, you might be part of the 0.00018%. Like you might just be right on the cusp. You might be there for film. I mean, it's crazy because growing up, I know a lot of people don't even know about the NFL European League, where you have the G League now with basketball. Players used to, if you weren't actually getting playing time, maybe you're not second string, but you're third, fourth string. NFL used to send you overseas. People were in their Saints helmet, their Eagles helmet, but you're playing for a European team just to get more film, more development, and stuff like that. So I really think the Japanese league, the German league, the French leagues like this, they're still developmental. But I do understand where your guy's coming from, because just because a guy says he plays overseas doesn't mean he's playing in front of 10,000 people with quality talent, because there's one German league that might be great, but there's another German league that is like, it is backyard football. It's worse than this semi-pro. So I think it's all to be taken with a grain of salt. Grain of salt. Jesus. It's crazy work. I'm out. You stutter. I'm out.
So kind of going back to your pro indoor talk, what do you think, at least I've been in semi-pro now playing for 3-4 months now technically. And I've seen a lot of argument or a lot of recruitment to me about saying, "Hey, bro, come over here and get some film. Come over and get some film so you can move up." Why is that a recruitment? Why is that a recruitment argument? Like, why is that a recruitment?
Because it doesn't actually happen, and people that have been playing for, I think play for 2 years. If within your first 2 years, I understand believing the best of these teams. Like, hey, come get film. Oh, cool. Like, I'm 21 years old. Maybe I do want to go overseas. I need film. Let me go get some film. Half of these teams do not have real film. Like, they play at fields that don't even have booths, or they don't have a cameraman, or they don't have a camera that is worth anything. I mean, people talk about live streaming games all the time, and it's fake news. It's fake word. They're streaming with a camera phone. They're live with a camera phone. They're just in the background talking, and there's people comments over the screen. You can't take that film and go send it to a coach. And nowadays, semi-pro, I really do believe, used to have talent. The first team I played for, I was playing with Bowling Green's. It was Bowling Green's quarterback. He didn't go to the league. He just wanted to still play some football. Funny you're wearing that.
Shout out.
But he was a legit. That's Bowling Green is Bowling Green. That's D1. That's Big Mac. Like, we're good. You don't get that talent anymore. You just get some guys that just, I love. I'm here for. I really strive to let people know, hey man, football is just like rec league basketball, softball. Like, it's okay. We picked our sport. We love our sport. So we want to continue to play our sport. But you have teams trying to hype you on, hey, we can get you film. We have a media team. We can get you this. We can get you seen by these pro leagues. No, they can't. They can't. It's just, be honest. Be honest. Stop lying to these kids when they're trying to find a team to play for. Hey, you didn't go to the league. You can come play some football. You're going to have to pay a little bit. But we're not going to send you to the league. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You have the pro indoor leagues that you might be able to make some movement into, but how much are you paying? You pro indoor leagues, IFL, what is it? The AIF, NAL? Like there's a couple premier leagues, but there's an argument with who's most premier. There's teams that fold on the daily.
Indoor's crazy how many teams fold all the time.
Teams fold on the daily because it costs money to run these teams. People love to, oh man, you got to run it this way or that way. If you don't have $50,000 a game to run it, that's overhead. It costs you to rent out these arenas. So I think a lot of people have high hopes for what they're striving for, and I appreciate the big dreamers. And maybe I'm getting old to where I've seen it all, but yeah, I would not recruit anybody by saying, hey, come get some game film so you can move on, because it doesn't happen. It just doesn't.
Which I think is huge to get your perspective on that. Like me, like we're the complete opposite of scales. Like you have what 10 plus years in the amateur world, where I am just getting into it. So I mean, it's just huge. I think for my viewers and your viewers, just to kind of hear that someone that has like veteran experience in this league.
It's another way of calling me old, but it's cool. I understand.
I feel like
I appreciate it. That's a compliment. It was a compliment.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So I also have some questions for Ben, diving into his content, diving into semi-pro, and then just some rapid fire questions just to see if he can answer.
Let's get it.
So you said you've been doing content for 2 years, but were you ever interested in hopping on Vine? I feel like Vine was like the first to like really get these social media apps going.
So I am a OG social media user. Like MySpace, I had my top 8. Like I was on MySpace daily. Facebook, I was on it daily. So every time a new platform has popped up, I've been that consumer that was into it. I didn't really hang out with a lot of people and stuff, so I'm just at home and I'm in the chat rooms on AOL and AIM and just trying to like see where I fit in. So Vine was great. I didn't use it the way I now use TikTok, but I hadn't discovered myself yet. Like I hadn't figured out, I was trying too hard to, I want to be like a little comedian. Let me do a skit, or I want to be cool and do a trick shot, or I want to like try to lift in, but that's not even what Vine was for. Vine was, you got 6 seconds to really capture people. So I scroll rotted Vine all the time. I love Vine. I still think it was one of our better platforms. And people are like, man, it just disappeared. It got bought out. It's two different things. It's, hey man, they will crush you. They will crush you.
It's kind of crazy how it just like none of those social medias came out following Vine. Like I feel like there's a good gap between Vine and like these now short content apps.
People have to understand I don't want to try to sound too smart, but the economics behind running these social media platforms. People don't know Snapchat has been running at a loss for a long time because where are they making their money? Vine, and we'll just call this my theory, it was a great platform, but you only have 6 seconds. Where does a company make money on that? Like I can't run an advertisement through you. You only got 6 seconds. Your entertainment's 5 seconds. When am I supposed to get a 1 second real clip in there? So I understand there being a gap because Facebook kind of had a chokehold at that point. So I get it. Instagram tried to simplify that. Twitter tried to simplify that. TikTok tried to simplify. We're gonna have something. That's what's funny. I'm always trying to look for the new platform. Like, hey, what's gonna blow up? Now that I know better, let me do better. But I don't even think we know what's coming next. What's your get? Like you're a 21-year-old. You get to hear the rumblings. What's next? What do you think is next?
I mean, I kind of brought it up in the car. I mean, it seems like you kind of disagree. I'm not really sure. I think Facebook and Meta is going to take over, and it's going to become one just big app for everything. I think TikTok, like let's say Meta buys out TikTok, if TikTok, Facebook, Instagram all merge, it's like everyone's just going to swoon to that one app, whatever it's called.
But don't you feel like, and we didn't really discuss it. I think you said your piece, I said mine. Don't you feel as if Facebook is already that? Based on the fact my TikToks also go on Facebook, also go on Instagram, also go on YouTube Shorts. And I get to make my post. And I do think what is crazy to me is Facebook, as big as it's been to my generation for so long, we're kind of getting sick of it. But your generation is coming up now like, oh, we get to like I think it says, what do you want to say or how do you feel? Like when you want to make a post, it's like you could tweet on there without a picture or a video or anything. But if you want video, you can make a reel. But if you just want a photo, you can upload a picture. So you can do everything already. But I think Meta, it's not Facebook anymore. Meta is kind of in the position to. TikTok, I think, will get banned at some point. They're not going to sell. So it's not even that they're going to be banned. They're just not going to ever want to sell. Meta already bought Instagram, and Instagram's so fake now that maybe they'll just get rid of it. And it's just, hey, they could I agree, they could force everybody to just start using Facebook if they wanted to. If they got rid of every other social media platform, people are just gonna disappear. They're gonna find something.
Yeah, very true. Man, that you brought up some really good points. I think my generation though, everyone's like Facebook is kind of like, oh, it's for the old people. It's for like getting along with your community, staying in your like your hometown, checking out what your hometown's doing.
Agreed.
And I don't think my generation gets behind that. And then when it comes to Instagram,
Agreed.
I think it, especially for young men and young women, it definitely hurts people's egos. Like, oh, like this model's posting how nice her body is, and then these bodybuilder men are ruining this image of guys, and I'd say it's really bad for just a normal everyday Joe Schmo, and that's why a lot of people my age are Joe Schmo. A lot of people.
Is he saying Smo or Schmo? It's Joe Schmo, not Joe Smo.
It's Joe Schmo.
It is SCHMO. It's Joe Schmo. But continue. I hate the. You were on a roll. You were on a roll. But I'm really bad at, if you say something wrong, I'm gonna point it out.
But I didn't.
Joe Schmo.
When you said salt Jesus, I didn't.
Oh, no, I said I was gonna walk out myself. I was definitely gonna walk out myself. Like,
yeah. Let me get up.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think my generation as a whole is not taking social media in a healthy way. I mean, people just are doom scrolling. They don't want Instagram. They don't want Facebook. I really couldn't tell you like the demographic and the exact age group, but I just think in my area, it's just definitely struggling to deal with social media in a healthy way.
I think Sam Sulek has taught people a lot. Just taught all generations a lot, because one, it's crazy how a person can just blow up. Like, it just takes like a couple of shares for something to really blow up. But he's taught it, you don't have to be so over edited. Like, we over edit I am prime example of somebody that, I go to post my TikTok, my 60 seconds, my 90 seconds, and I'm like, it has to be hype the entire 90 seconds. But I'm a hype individual. You know me at this point. I like hype things. I like loud. I like fast paced. Now, when it's time to chill, like a time like this, like, we're cool, we can chill. But I like my media to be fast paced. Sam Sulek has definitely done a good job of, if you're authentic and you're connecting with people, and I think that's what you can still do on Facebook. I do agree that it is so hometown, it's so annoying, but they need a new way for you to connect with people. Nobody has ever been Facebook famous. Like, you've seen people Vine famous, Instagram famous, but nobody, like YouTube famous, but nobody's ever been like, oh, how'd you hear about them? Oh, they're Facebook famous. Like, that's not a thing, because you're so stuck to your hometown, but you're forced upon that. I think with pages now, you're kind of helped out and you can gain followers and whatnot. But I don't know. I think everything's a theory nowadays. They don't really give you a good explanation of how the algorithms work. But it's interesting to see, at 35 and 21, where we both can kind of find a middle ground on where the next platform will be, because you think it's going to be Facebook. You think Facebook could do something and make some waves. I'm still thinking, I think it's going to be a different platform. I think something that we don't even know about yet is going to just come out the woodworks. Or I'm still big on like VR. I think the whole meta space, like the Oculus,
that's
things
scary.
like that.
Yeah,
I like it though. I like it.
I mean,
I like it.
I imagine like I'm coming home from work, my 5-year-old son's in his VR world, just touching and liking things and commenting things. Like, that's gonna be crazy.
I think if they figure out a way. So my brother has VR set up, and I mean, I'd be down there playing. Like I be playing like Resident Evil.
That's gotta be scary.
Jump scares like it's nothing. Like, but I'm driving F1 the other day. Like I'm driving in the wall and I like skid out because you're really like it's
immersive.
it really messes with your sensory. So I'm sitting there and I'm driving. I think I'm about to hit a wall and my whole body just
like brace,
up, like locked up, and I'm like, oh, this isn't real. But I do get nauseous playing for like 30 minutes. Like if I play for more than a couple minutes, I'm like, I'm a little nauseous because I'm seasick. I'm seasick because I'm like, instead of actually walking, I'm using a like a joystick. Yeah. So it's different, but I think if they can regulate a couple things, make it slightly cheaper, with Meta glasses and stuff like that, technology is getting out of hand.
It's getting crazy.
It's getting out of hand. I'm here for it. I'm all about evolution. Like I'm not some Terminator believist that is gonna be like, oh, technology is gonna kill us all out. I'm like, no, you just gotta kind of evolve.
Well, with any evolution or development, that's only gonna help us as content creators out because it gives us new ideas and new opportunities to make better and greater
content. Opportunities, I think, is the best word because it's definitely like. I mean, everybody.
Do you want to share your idea of how we can implement semi-pro in the VR, or do you not want to bring that up yet?
Oh, I'll bring it up.
Go ahead. Go ahead and take care of the way.
Yeah. I think so. My brother having VR, you can pull up YouTube and you can watch our POVs. You watch our POVs, and it is like you are the player behind the camera, running a route, catching a ball, dropping back, throwing a ball, catching a kick return, playing a corner like you're Drizzy Pope. It's immersive. It's a different way to really watch our content. So if you've never done that, hop on YouTube on your little Oculus. YouTube us. It's sweet. It's sweet. So I think we could do more like that. That's all I'll give them. I'll just give them the consumer. Listen, we can give people ideas all day, but it takes, as you know, it takes actual work. You know, how many people say, hey, I'm going to get a GoPro just like you, and they do, and they never use it. I still ain't seen y'all's clips.
Or they get it and we never see clips.
I've never seen y'all's clips.
Yeah.
But you're not me.
I think I've seen...
I digress.
I think I've seen, in my 4 months, I've seen 4 different people with GoPros on. And if you include last year doing with the Boom, when I actually was just doing video stuff for you, 5 people with GoPros. The only clips I've seen, you, Pope, and Player One. That's the only clips I've seen. I haven't seen anybody else.
There's a guy, and I hate that I can't remember his name right now. My bad, dog. There's a guy, he plays for a New York team. He plays more D end. I've talked to him a couple times. He's been consistent. I don't think, he has to work on some things. I'm not going to put him on blast. Like, I think he has great content. But outside of, like you said, me, you, Pope, even Player One, I'm a fan, but he doesn't post consistently. Like, I don't see a lot of content. I would like to see them all move towards YouTube and be more authentic and take us through their whole process. It'd be cool to see. But I see a new GoPro on a daily. People hit me up asking me about what GoPro I use. I've done told y'all. I done showed y'all my setup, but y'all lazy. So stop asking. You're not actually going to do it. Stop asking.
I would love to get into we were talking about this at practice, but I wanted to get into like the DJI stuff rather than GoPro. I love what I'm seeing on YouTube about it. I've watched so many like tutorials and like previews and reviews, and I want to get behind this trend of DJI like GoPro cameras.
I'm not against it. Like, I'm not against it. I looked into it after you told me about it, and I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do, again, I just said a minute ago, I'm all about evolution. If DJI brings up something that I feel like, all right, this is a no-brainer. If you said their batteries last longer,
way longer.
If you can give me a battery that lasts me 6 hours and I ain't got to change them, I'll think about it. But so far, GoPro, they have not let me down. I mean, I've worked in 30 games or so now, and I mean, I haven't cracked my screen, my lens or anything yet. The shakiness, I don't have to stabilize and edit. It's good. Like it is a great action camera. But I know a guy, shout out Mikey Cuz. He first game with a GoPro, he's hype about it. Kickoff return. I'm talking first kickoff return. Face mask to face mask shattered his. So I can't hate on GoPro. Somebody like DJI, I use their mics. I have a couple of their mics. Even my mic at home is DJI. Great company, but y'all gonna have to show me something. Show me something.
I think the opportunity that I like about DJI, kind of a boring topic, I apologize, but is the color grading and the zoom in the professional camera like look that GoPro can't really do.
What kind of? See, that's something you are a little more nerdy than I am. Just like you enjoy that stuff. That's crazy. You enjoy that stuff, and I'm not against it. I love to learn about what I'm using and stuff. But again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I kind of like my content. Like my content, if you put 100 clips in front of me of different people wearing a GoPro, I can point mine out. Not because of what happened, but I can see mine. I add one little filter to mine that nobody else does, and just kind of the way it plays out. I'm like, okay, that's mine right there. So I like my GoPro, but it's
worked for you.
Yeah, it's worked, and people think they need to. Oh, is that a Hero, a 13, a 12? I'm like, it's an 8. Like I said, we ain't got to go that far. We ain't got to go extra. It's 2K, 4K. You can customize so you can get the wide view. I have always wanted, though. I think there's a way to. There has to be a way to get a 360 camera in.
I was going to bring that up during the VR, but you said you wanted to like cut it, so I was like,
no, but my only thought is the way a 360 works. I can't like. And if somebody wants to do it, because I'll still do it. I think if you take a 360 camera, no, that won't even.
Here's
work.
how I would develop it. I have an idea. This is how I would develop. If I had the money, I am a nerd. I would find somebody. I would connect with somebody.
We can find the money.
So the camera's in front of your face, and then there's a rope or wires that lead to your ear part of your helmet, and that sticks out just a little bit to get the full backside. So I mean, it'd be almost 360. Obviously,
is that how a 360 camera works though?
I'm sure they could develop it that way.
Oh, so they would have to develop a whole new 360 camera just for that to happen.
Like just in front of your face, and then like goes all the way back to like the ear parts.
That is very hopeful.
You tell me that's not a fire idea for a 360 camera?
No, but you have to establish something with a 360. The way I see a 360 now is it's usually like it's like a stick with like a ball on the end. And I would have to figure out, because if you do it straight up in the air, you're good. You get the whole thing, but you can't do that in a football game.
No, you can't.
So I would like to figure out. I really think though, and this is, I don't duck my head. If you're tackling right, you don't duck your head. If you could just have it stick out of your helmet, like it'd be up in the helmet, and just have it stick out just enough to where it could catch everything, it'd be cool. But I think it's something I want to do at practice. I think I'm going to come to a practice and just find a brace for it and have a 360 camera on top of my head. And
or even your cowboy collar, maybe, potentially.
You a thinker. You a thinker. He a thinker. That's not a bad idea. Let's put it on the back, let it go that direction. That's a great idea. I'm bringing the cowboy collar back. It's been a while. I took it off.
I always liked it.
When I moved to tight end, I was like, there was one pass that was too high, and I'm like going to reach for it, and then my head just stopped. And I'm like, I can't see anymore. I can't go back anymore. So I had to take the cowboy collar off. I love the cowboy collar look. I wish I could get the old school like PVC pipe looking around.
Oh my gosh.
Those are collector's items now. I looked for one. It was like $360.
Crazy work.
That's out. All the way out.
So you brought up Sam Sulek and how you think you kind of changed content creation and the way you look at things. You brought up some other points about just looking at social media and taking things from it. But you just hit 100K subs on YouTube. Congratulations.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, that's probably that clicked out, didn't it?
No, it's still there. It's all good.
Oh, all right,
You would hear it in the headphones if it clicked. You would hear it.
I'm hype about it. My bad.
But yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. I'm super proud of you, and like I think you're doing great stuff on YouTube. And so I just kind of wanted to get your point. So you take things from other content creators, but what advice would you give, and what do you think your content portrays to young content creators or early on content creators that want to kind of get things rolling to get to where you're at? What's your advice, man?
That's a quality question. Good job.
Thank you.
And thank you for the love. The advice I've been giving over the last probably year, I was real bad. I won't say bad. Stay true to myself. People would ask me for advice. Hey man, I'm trying to get like you. And some people say it as just being nice. I'm trying to get like you. But some people really like, hey man, what should I do? Like I said when we're talking about Vine, I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't. Like I would try to do skits and I like to be a funny guy. I'm just a witty person. But I'm not that kind of funny. I'm also not trendy. So there are certain trends that you'll follow that I'm like, bro, I wish I was more trendy. Like the what's the Fresh Prince one that's going around where you're dancing behind the
yeah.
Like I'm just not that guy. I'm just not that guy. I'm not downplaying it, but I do stay true to who I am, and so I don't force. I'm gonna play football no matter what. So how can I make content out of doing what I'm gonna do no matter what? I have a friend who he's getting. He just started a truck driving business, but he's a dispatcher. He's not a driver. He's a dispatcher. I told him, I'm like, God, I don't know any dispatchers that are doing content that are like showing you the ins and outs. There's a community for everybody. You've heard me say that at Bluffton, like just find your community and just base your content off of what you love. And it's just so much easier because I guarantee you're not the only person that thinks like that. Who is calling my phone? Who is calling my hotel phone? We're going to let that just ring. I don't know who that is. I don't like that. It's in the background.
Why would they call?
I don't know. That's awkward. That's crazy.
Has it ever happened to you before?
Maybe I'm a VIP candidate.
Yeah,
they gave me a VIP package, so shout out to the Sheraton. What's up?
Can we get a sponsorship next time though?
Facts. But no, sorry. They ask what advice I can give, and I'm just like, stay true to yourself and do the content. Just do it. Like if you want to get into social media, grab your phone, record something that is of some value. We've all seen people work out. Just because you started hitting the gym does not make you a trainer. You feel me? Just because you started, really, there's just about it. You're not a nutritionist because you started a new diet. You can take people through your experience. That's great. That's awesome. That's what you should do. But it doesn't make you an expert because it worked for you. So my advice is do what you are already going to do and make content out of it.
You know what? As nerdy as you say I am, I wanted to point this out.
You call yourself a nerd, but go off.
I mean, just because you just said it earlier. Okay. Anyways, I'm in a sports comm class this semester at my university, and I always thought your niche was the topic you chose and the community that followed, which is not correct. Your niche is the community within the topic. Like, so we're in the football community, and the niche is them. Like, it's niche. The niche is the people. It's not the topic. I didn't know that.
It's a bar.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
niche is not a topic. It's your people.
I mean, I can't really expand on that because it's that straightforward. And I think somebody would try to expand on that and make it more complicated for somebody. So no, that's it.
Did you always know that? Or did you always think it was a topic? Because I thought it was a topic within the people, but no, it's the people.
So the problem I struggled with was I was trying to find a niche and dive myself into it. Like, I think a lot of people do that. People hear fitness. I'm like, oh, I want to be a fitness influencer. That's a big community. So it's like, and if you're an outsider, oh, I'm not in the fitness realm anyway, like already, I'm going to jump in and try to fake it. Like or fake it till I make it. I do believe in faking it till you make it. But I don't. I'm gonna say I didn't know that, but I did.
Mm,
It's hard for me to explain.
mm,
It's hard for me to explain. So I'm gonna move on.
gotcha. Yeah, I know. I was like, man, I feel so silly because I've been growing as a content creator, but I'm like, I didn't even like that could have
So
simplified so many things.
what did you change? So help me out. What did you change once you figured that out?
I realized it was about the people within my community of like Instagram and like YouTube. Like, I need to respond to comments. I need to interact with these people because
What were you
they're the
doing
niche.
prior? What were you doing prior?
I would say I was focusing more on what I wanted with my creation. I was
Ex-
focusing more on like I know I want this football video. I want to make this
Exactly.
vlog. But no, it's like, oh, I'm getting requests for how I'm setting up my GoPro. I'm getting requests for more game content. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure next game I'm gonna lock in with the GoPro, or like I'm gonna answer any questions about college football or my experience at Bluffton University or the University of Mount Union. Like it became about my viewers and people that engaged within my niche.
Yeah, it's I think it takes a second to realize because you came in like me to where it's just man I'm here to entertain and I want followers like
Mm,
I want a following. I expect anybody watching and liking and commenting and to be consumers and followers of what I'm doing
mm,
when in reality they're they're the hero. I'm not. They want to learn how to do what I'm doing
mm,
and they want to know my experience because maybe they're experiencing the same thing. And so once I kind of transition out of the mindset that I just want to be cool and do highlights and play football and look sweet. And it's like, no, my niche is really the semi pro community and all the people that are already doing what I'm doing
mm.
that just kind of want my experience and they want to give other people their experience. I think that's when you can start bonding with people. Once you start treating people as equals,
Mm.
like, hey, we're in the same. I told you earlier. I'm like, I don't really. I don't do the egotistical. Like I could be the hype egotistical. I'm better than everybody thing,
Mm.
but I'm. That's not who I am. Like I'm like, hey man, we are on the same league. Let's figure this out. I will say, if you ask me about my camera, at this point, I've put it out there a million
Several times,
times.
yeah.
I put it out there enough times. I can't do it anymore.
Mm.
So I'm not. I'm just a little tired of that. There are things I think you can get tired of, but no, I think finding your niche is like you said, it's the people within that community and not the topic itself.
100%.
That's a bar. That's a bar. He didn't learn something in his comms class.
Yeah. I did want to bring up to you as well. I don't think you experienced this because you kind of had a short period of having a cameraman on your field to going to GoPro stuff. But for me, I had to go from the high school football world to the college football world to the amateur world, and I was kind of sad going from college to amateur because I had so many young kids and even young adults aspiring to play college ball, and they always went to me for, hey, like, what did you do? How can I do this? What's your recruitment? Like, how'd you get recruited? Stuff like that. And and I was so worried about doing the amateur thing and losing that, not somebody they can go to get advice from anymore. But thankfully, I still am like someone they reach out to, and I'm just so grateful for you guys, of course, that didn't stop asking me questions. 'Cause I was really afraid of losing that transition from college to amateur. I'm getting choked up. Amateur. Um, but
I get it.
I don't think
I
you
get it.
have you experienced anything like that. I mean, your content really hasn't switched over. I mean, I guess from Pat Games
No, I
to
get. But I get what you're saying because, you know, if you ask me the same advice, if I was doing the same thing 10 years ago, my answers would probably be different. And I asked you earlier. I was saying, hey, what are you gonna tell the D3 football player that says, "Hey, I want to come play amateur, semi-pro, 30, so whatever you want to call it."
mm,
Your answer today is different than what it was a year ago.
mm,
So I I'm not gonna like I've transitioned so many times just because I'm older. Like I have had the pack games, I've had the pack gang, now I have the pack money Benny thing. And it's not like, oh, I've just been throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks,
mm,
but it was more about, the pack games wasn't forced, but it was an idea that is like I could get behind. I just didn't really have the right team at the time. I got the right team now. Get the pack games back. The pack gang a little premature. I saw what I was doing. I wanted to help a bunch of people get into football and what they were doing. Um, but not everybody wants to be a creator the way I thought everybody wanted to. So now I'm really just focused on the pack money Benny thing. So I'm still learning too. Like I'm still learning.
I'm glad we can relate in that sort of aspect. I'm glad we can. Like, I was hoping, like, I wasn't sure if you'd understand what I was like trying to go for, but I'm
Yeah.
glad you
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
understand.
relate to a 21-year-old. Joking. I'm a little more mature. I promise.
So we've talked about semi-pro a lot, and you call yourself the king of 37U. What are you gonna do when you're 38?
That was funny. That was funny. Um, First and foremost, as he already knows, this is a quality question because he already knows this. It is not actually 37U. If you were 18 and up, you can play 37U, amateur, semi-pro, pro development, whatever you want to call it. You can play it. It's 18 and up. But I want to play till I'm like 40. That's legitimately based on content creation. If I can play till I'm 40, there not everybody's gonna be happy I want to play that long, but I still feel good. Do I deal with some bumps and bruises? And yes, but I tore my ACL as a sophomore in high school. So I mean, just because I'm 20 years older doesn't mean I never know how to answer that. I want to play as long as the Lord has blessed my body to continue to play football. And as a 35-year-old man, I'm above average because I still work out and I actually run sprints. I do run sprints here and there. There's a lot of y'all that ain't ran a sprint since 1981. So I'm gonna play as long as I can.
How do you feel about that whole? You told me about this about the indoor team we just joined or the league. It's like you aged out or whatever. Wasn't that crazy? An amateur league that you like aged out of.
I want to put some respect on it because I understand wanting a younger crowd and not just getting a bunch of 37U crash outs. Mm-hmm. Like I want to understand that, but if I'm being honest, when it comes to these semi-pro leagues, it's the YNs that are coming in and just crashing out. You ain't got to crash out all the time. But telling me that I can't play in a league anymore because I'm too old, that's
crazy.
Crazy work. It's insane. Like it doesn't make any sense. So I don't even know the name of the league. I just stopped with my owner and coach told me that, and I'm just like, all right, bet. You can play in it, but I can't.
I don't really want to play without you, to be honest.
Oh, that was very cute. That was cute.
You're welcome.
Joking. I'm joking.
So
what?
I just
be checking.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of semi-pro? What makes it unique and its own, in your opinion?
That's a hard question because I don't know if there are any. Like, what advantages and disadvantages in what way?
Just getting to keep playing football.
Yeah, so I think that's the advantage. I think advantage is, like I said, some people want to play rec league basketball. Some people want to play rec league softball. Some of us are a little more pro violence. We like football. That's what we're good at. That's what we find comfort in. Like I tell people, when I step on a football field, for that next 2 hours, I'm a different person. Like I am the king of yapping. Like I'm a very nice guy off the field. The second I get on the field, I just talk. Like I just speak. Words just come out. Like I can't control anything that happens. That's something you can only do on a football field and then back it up. Like, oh, I still get to go hit you. And I mean, don't underestimate the grown man that needs to go take his anger out on another grown man. What I think you posted about it, like your first indoor football game is like, I'm about to go hit on somebody's or not hit up. Whoa. But I'm about to go beat down somebody's stepdad. And I'm just like, that's how I feel on Saturdays, on Sundays. I'm finna go hit somebody's dad. It is what it is. Hey, I'm really gonna go risk my body because that's what makes me happy. But nobody really talks about like the dirt bike rider that goes and does a backflip that's also risking his body. I've dislocated my ankle playing pickup basketball. It happens. But I have a aunt that tore her Achilles walking up steps. Like, your body is your body. It is what it is. You can't protect it. So I like football because it puts me out of a comfort that it puts me in comfort and out of comfort. So that's my thoughts on the advantage. Disadvantage: if you don't have the money to play semi-pro football, don't play semi-pro football. If you need a ride to practice because you ain't got no car, go get a car. If you can't afford the team fees and so you got to borrow money for team fees, don't play semi-pro football. There's many things I can bring up financially that if you can't afford to do it, don't play semi-pro football. Disadvantage.
Like it. Two things. For me, the reason I like semi-pro, it's the first league I've been a part of where no one's had a problem with my passion for creating content and being myself. I think in high school and college, you're meant to form to this team chemistry and this team culture, and I couldn't be Caleb. I couldn't be CF3, and then
I would like to take credit for his ability to do that. Continue.
absolutely.
Because semi-pro, because a year ago, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, people they did not like my GoPro. There was, hey man, come on, man, don't record me. I've had coaches that, oh man, you're wearing a GoPro, I can't talk to you now. I'm like, I've never put in anything crazy. I don't put people's personal information. Like, I don't do anything like that. But I think based on what social media has started, like what I've helped happen on social media, people like you can come in, be passionate about it, and nobody bats an eye. Like, it's okay, cool. Like, yeah. I'm glad I'm glad you're a young guy doing it. Like, you're not some 35-year-old. Like, hey man, we got some young blood. They out here, but you're nice and you'll send a person their clip and like you tag people and you try to get people involved, which is
all about collaboration, man. It's all about relationships. Shout out to Bluffton University. And my second thing about your aunt.
Oh, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Forget my aunt for a second. Aunt.
Aunt.
We won't talk about that.
Okay.
Let's. How was it being at Bluffton, being at Mountain Union, and not being able to go all in on like, hey, listen, I'm here to play football, but I want to create content. Because you have guys that do that, like in D1 in Ohio State, and those guys, and it's like there's a leash on them. So it's like, there's no leash on us now.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had a leash on me, which opened your eyes like, oh, I can really go in here and do whatever I want for real. Being at Bluffton, being wherever, and having that leash and not wanting to go too far. I mean, how do you think that's hindered your timing? Has it like...
I would say actually my ability as a football player hindered my content creation. But then also the whole being restricted as a content creator didn't even happen really. It was more of a blind side. I didn't really talk about my story of leaving Mount or leaving Bluffton, but now I guess that I'm not associated with either university. I can talk about it. So the whole thing with Mount was I was like the 8th string X receiver. I mean, we had 45 receivers. It's a massive roster. It's basically a bunch of D1 rejects or D1 walk-on caliber players that start, and then these true D3 guys just either transfer out or you just choose to be a 4-year backup. And I unfortunately came in as, you're probably going to be a practice squad guy all 4 years, and my coach was honest with me about that. But it came into my sophomore year where I already had a year's worth of vlogs of, I think, like, Mount's so competitive, you have to compete just to make the travel bus for the JV games. Like, that's how competitive it is. Where, like, other D3s, you just play JV just to develop.
Because Mount Union different. Mount Union different.
They could compete with some D1 FCS D2s.
They can compete. Mount Union is, if you don't know about Mount Union, look them up. Because I was probably like 19, 20 before I like really knew. It sucks when you're 17, 16 trying to figure out schools and you don't hear about some schools like that.
When did you graduate high school?
2008.
Well, truthfully, that was like towards the middle of like their reign. I mean, it's not some success in the 90s, early 2000s, but like that was at the middle of like their reign of terror in D3.
Yes, and that's the thing. I was never, I had my oldest brother was at West Virginia. My next older brother, he was at Michigan State. My dad played at Florida State. So, of course, me coming out and being ineligible my senior year of high school, don't be like me, kids. I was only thinking D1. Like I couldn't
Every
I
kid
didn't
does.
yes, and I think that's it's hard because like you just said, even D3, if you're going to be a third string D3, if you're not starting, what's the point?
Mm.
And I'm asking you, like, what is the outside of like you're already there?
Mm.
Like you might be in a different state or something. You're already there. You just want to play some football. But what is required of you is as much as a D2 and
Mm.
some smaller D1s. So it's like if you're not gonna go to the next level, is it worth the stress? Like, would you tell your younger self? Would you tell a friend that's a couple years younger than me or younger than you? Would you tell them to go and play D3?
I absolutely would if that's what you want your college experience to be. Like everybody wants the college experience. That's what they say. If your college experience is playing college football and the only offers you have is D3, absolutely take it. For me, I just wanted more. I wanted to build a brand. I wanted some more freedom. But like a lot of guys, truthfully, like need that I'm on your tail. Go to study halls, go to practice,
And I
go
do
to
get,
more
I get
lifts.
that.
A
I
lot
get
of
that.
guys need that because I mean they had that in high school. I mean, there's a lot of resources in high school of teachers like we're going to carry you all the way there. At college, no one's looking out for you except your college football coach. But even then, there's a limit because you got to be a man at some point.
Have you ever taken a second and looked up like how many D3 players were drafted?
Like I think 7 ever, but there's been a lot of
7 ever? I meant this draft. So you're saying
oh,
so it's
ev-
it's stupid rare.
yeah, but I mean, I'm also a guy that believes in taking the opportunity you get. I mean, I played with Wayne Ruby, who got a shot with the Jaguars this last season, and then now he's playing in the CFL. I played with a couple of receivers that we call Mount Union wide receiver U, like Ohio State, but it's really all our receivers. We had 3 receivers from Mount Union play in the NFL and have 2 of them had amazing careers. Cecil Shorts and Pierre
Oh, I
Garcon.
didn't know Cecil was a.
Yeah, Cecil Shorts and Pierre Garcon both played at Mount Union.
Did they go leave straight from Mount Union to the
Straight,
league?
straight. They
See,
both got
that's-
drafted.
But is there any other D3 like Mount Union that is putting out NFL caliber talent?
Historically, Wisconsin Whitewater's up there. I think people actually know Wisconsin Whitewater.
Never
more.
heard of it. Never heard of it.
Well, it's because we're in Ohio, but if you nationally, Wisconsin Whitewater's known
Where's
better.
Mount Union?
Near Alliance, near Akron and Youngstown.
Never knew that.
Yeah, and then Wisconsin
That's
Whitewater's
like,
Wisconsin.
like I said, I was not some people are good at that, following like schools and stuff. I'm bad at that. I'm terrible at that.
Well, I was just realistic of my choices back in high school, and so I really did a lot of research on D3, and that's why I think
What's Denison?
Denison's a D3 here in
Hey,
Ohio.
hey, they recruited me hard.
But that whole NCAC, that whole conference is all like the rich. I mean, it's like $60,000 a year to go.
That's why my ass ain't go.
They have some really nice facilities.
Yes, they were cool. I went to one camp and they were hype on me, and I'm like, all right, bet. And then I was ineligible that season. So
Shoot, yeah, I mean it's hard to get in. I don't even know if I would have got in. So they're a big smarty
I
school.
get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
But yeah, I hope I answered. Did I finish answering your question about the D3?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
So I was always curious about, and I still don't know how to answer the question when I get comments or DMs. How do you get recruited to play semi-pro, in your opinion? And I use the word recruited lightly.
I don't think you get recruited. I think you're searching. Like you're 18, 19, fresh out of high school. You're 22, 23, fresh out of college. And 2 things happen. One, you're like, man, I want to keep playing football. I'm going to look up pro teams in my area. Like it's just kind of because again, pro indoor, it's been a little bit bigger. It's had its moments, but you're trying to find where you fit in. Like, hey, I'm still in shape. I've been working out. I'm trying to like play some football. So you literally start to Google football teams in my area or adult football teams, stuff like that. So you're really doing more searching, and you just kind of go to a tryout, or you have a friend that is playing semi-pro and you just hit them up and say, hey, I'm trying to play. Or, yeah, it's like, hey, can you put me on? Like, the amount of times I've heard, hey dog, like I'm trying to get on with you. Can you put me on? Can you put me on? Can you put me? All right, bro. And I'll just reach out to my coach, and my coach will hit somebody up, or owner will hit somebody up, and so I don't think you're recruited to play rec league. Nobody recruits you to play at the YMCA rec league.
Mm.
So it's
Well, that's why I said lightly because that's how people
no no
phrase it
no
to
no
me.
no
Yeah.
I definitely get that, and that's again that's where I think it's I don't know, man. It's such a hard league genre. I don't even know what to call it because the people in it know it's not super high class. And then you have two different groups of people. People that think highly, oh man, you're still playing football. Like I love that. But they don't know that there's 10 fans in in the stands. But then there's people that do know, hey man, these guys, because they've either been in it and left or seen it and left. And, my brother went to left Michigan State, signed with the Panthers. But when he got cut by the Panthers, he went to a tryout because they had tryouts. It was like, oh, I'm going to go try out for this team in Cleveland and get some film and then try to get back on with the Panthers or get on with another team. It was like, man, I showed up and every man in there was 39 and fat and out of shape. And so he saw, it was just like, this isn't semi-pro is trash. Like this isn't real. So it's, I don't even know how to explain semi-pro because
I think you did a great job just by not knowing.
Because I'm trying so hard to give it credit, but also being realistic. And it's just, I'm still wrapping my head around it. Like trying to wrap my head around my own experience is hard because the way I started, you had 50 people at our practice. You had a 55-man roster. We were in a nice Dublin school arena with locker rooms and stuff like that. And we had like D1 college players fresh out of school coming to play. All right, bet. Now you're lucky to get 20 people to a practice, if that. Everybody late. You got people smoking on the sidelines, people that are hurt or drinking on the sidelines. The practices are skimpy. Like you're just very like left and right. So I think it depends on where you're at. But they say, and I haven't been there, the Texas leagues are like what I'm used to, like what the old school Ohio League was. California, they're like Texas and Florida. Those like that's the prime semi-pro football. It's real out there, and that's what they say. I don't know.
Maybe I'll just spend a
I live in
3 month.
Ohio.
Might
I
spend
live
a
in
3 month
Columbus.
3 month journey down in Texas to play some semi-pro ball in the future. Stay tuned.
Leave your Dagestan. Leave your kids with me. They'll come back football players.
Well, I was an exercise science major for the first 3 semesters of my college career, and I like to consider myself an educated person. And
I said nothing.
you didn't have to.
I said nothing. For once, I was just gonna let you go.
And I
Educated person.
and I
go off.
I believe in lifelong learning. I believe in lifelong fitness, and that's what I really appreciate amateur sports for. Is like it's such a stigma, especially in America, where you're just done playing after high school, college, and you're done working out. And my aunt's tearing her Achilles going up steps because she hasn't worked out in 20 years. If you work out and maintain your body, it's going to take care of you in the long run. And that's what me and Ben's a perfect example of that. I mean, yeah, he has injuries, but look at him. A man's 35 years old. He's not your average office worker. So I
agree.
I really just wanted to.
He's hyper than me. Like he more hype about it. But no, I agree.
I just wish people believe in that lifelong learning, lifelong fitness. Take care of your mind and your body.
I agree. And him being 21, you're in shape to impress people. Once you hit 27, 28, you're gonna realize like, oh, my knees hurt because I haven't used them. Like people just, man, I wake up and my back hurts. I don't know how. Yeah, your back hurts because you ain't deadlifting since 1981. You just don't do anything with it. You stop playing pickup basketball. Don't get me wrong. I understand. I speak from a privileged position of no kids, team no kids. It's cool. But even if I did, I have to prioritize 30 minutes a day, 45 an hour to get my workout in. You got to work out. Use your knees, use your elbows. Do a little bench. It's not hard. Stop walking on the treadmill. It's not doing nothing for you. Okay, I won't say that. It's actually really good for you. But you got to throw a little weightlifting in there. We're being a bitch. Being kind of soft.
Speaking of
Sorry for my language.
You're forgiven. Speaking of your lifelong fitness that you've had so far at the age of
35.
what's like your recovery process and how do you keep your body moving and playing ball as long as you have?
So it's
He's a man. He makes a choice too. That's what.
listen, I'm going to keep my life blunt and be honest. I don't do a good job of stretching. I don't like pills. So I don't take ibuprofen when I'm sore. I go get steroid shots like cortisone, not like juice. I get cortisone shots. So I've dealt with some elbow and shoulder injuries that I think are they stem from being a quarterback for 25 years. Like throwing the ball for 25 years, it kind of wears you down. And so I deal with some tennis elbow and some tendonitis and things like that. And so I go get steroid shots when necessary. The pain got to be on like a scale of like 8, 9 for me to be like, I'm going to go get a steroid shot. But outside of that, I like a good ice bath. I think they're harsh, but underrated. Like I know there's a big boom in it, but it's still take you an ice bath. There's places that you don't have to have a bath. You can go pay $15 and get you a nice ice bath. Do that like once a week. Foam rolling. I am actually big on foam rolling and massage guns. Like you don't have to pay whatever it is, $100 to go get a massage. I did hit a point though, probably between 2 and 4 years ago, that whole span of 2 years, I was getting a massage like once a week, if not twice a week.
Wow.
I think his name Mickey Rooney. He's dead and gone, but he lived till he was like 100 years old, and he was like, I go get a massage every day. Like I get a massage every day, and he lived for a long time. You got to break up that. It's really releasing the toxins. You got to force the toxins out of your body. So I'm gonna do a series on recovery, but I have to do the recovery first. I just think there's unique ways to recover, especially the older you get. But I feel great right now. Like I got like a little knot in my hamstring, but other than that, I feel wonderful.
Awesome.
Lift heavy, squat, deadlift,
Stretch.
bench. It just gets your body moving, you old piece of. That's a clip. I'm clipping that part. I know it's a podcast, but I need that. I just need to put it out there. Move your body, you old piece of.
One thing I plan to do this summer, and Ben's absolutely invited, is I want to go to a recovery center. There's one in Columbus I was looking at, and then there's 2 actually here in Indiana that we're at right now. So stay tuned for that this summer. I'm absolutely making a vlog out of a recovery. I don't need as much as Ben does, clearly.
It's an old joke.
But
that's another one. It's strike 2.
I'm only safe because the camera's on, guys.
Facts.
And
Factual.
But I would love to get a vlog of me and Ben or anyone that wants to come with me, any sort of athlete, to do a recovery video. Because some of those recovery centers are crazy, where you had like the space boots, the ice tub, ice rooms.
And I'm part of one. So he can come to mine. That's the thing. I'm a part of one where they got the big
space boots?
hyper ice, hypervolt, hyper ice. I think it's the same thing. I think it's called the hypervolt hyper ice. But the boots, the leg things that Pope had.
The space boots. That's what I call them.
I've never called them space boots. He just made that up himself. But ice bath, they got infrared. They got like the infrared ultrasound looking one. They do IVs. Oh, that's another one. I do every now and then. It's a little more rare, but an IV of certain nutrients and vitamins and stuff like that I think is good. Just get it directly into the system.
I will not do that. That's not me. Scared needles. Everything else.
Are you surprised he's afraid of needles? I'm not.
Okay, child. But yeah, I feel like we covered the recovery thing pretty well.
You got to recover. You have to. Old school methods. It was very. Did you do 2-a-days?
Yep. I was my sophomore year or junior year of high school was the last time I did 2-a-days.
That's 2 days is crazy because you need even at that young age. Yes, you're eating a lot, your body recovers faster, but 2 days is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just you pushing your body. You have to rest. If you want to recover, you have to rest. Sleep is important. If you're over 30, you should be taking creatine. You should be taking ashwagandha. That's it. Drink more water. The ashwagandha is going to help you sleep better. The creatine, good for the brain, and it
Good for the heart as well.
good for the
Cardiovascular.
heart. The creatine really sucks water into your muscles.
Stores extra creatine phosphate, which creates more energy. Makes you feel like you have more energy.
Okay, Bill Nye the Science.
I was actually a science major.
Touche. But no, there's definitely I think there's room for IVs. There's room for IVs.
I'm not against it. I'm glad you do that.
Just scared of needles, but
Yep,
continue.
I am terrified.
Continue.
So in your last workout short you made, you kind of said move weight fast, be athletic, don't do the bodybuilder stuff. You're not a bodybuilder. But I know you're also a very competitive powerlifter. So what's that transition like? Oh, I'm a football player almost year round, but I have this 1 or 2 powerlifting meets I want to go do. Like, how do you train for that versus during a football season?
I'm still trying to perfect.
It actually amazes me. It amazes me, like really, because like how could you go from athletic movements to okay, now I'm just gonna get under 700 pounds and squat it? Like,
definitely not that strong, but I appreciate it. But
you know
hold on, no. Let the people think. No, I like powerlifting for the competitive aspect. I like to just compete in many things. I like it because it forces me to go to the gym. Like I don't, there's this belief that anybody at the gym just likes going to the gym. I hate going to the gym. The average person hates going to the gym. You love the results. You love the immediate after. So like I like having being pumped. Yeah, I love being pumped. That's good. But nobody likes to go get up under 315 and have to push it off their chest.
Yeah.
That'll kill some people. So that's why I like it. It makes me uncomfortable. I know that not
chooses
everybody
to love the process.
Oh, you got to embrace the discomfort. Yeah, not everybody's willing to go do it. And it's also a journey because I remember when I couldn't do 315. I remember when I couldn't do 275. I couldn't do 225. I graduated high school at like 160. I had to eat a lot of Taco Bell to get to 180. And then even then, I'm like, man, I can't gain weight. So it's like I have to really. And then I ate too much and went overboard. And I got just a little bit. But no, that's why I like it. I think you need to stay athletic, but it feels good to get up under 500 pounds and squat it. It feels good to see 550 on the floor and like, I can pick that up. Can you pick up 550? Nope. That's for the old jokes.
You're welcome. So before we get into rapid fire questions and close out the podcast, I have one final question that I am personally curious about. Do you have any crazy like altercations or situations you've been involved in with semi-pro? And like, what is your craziest story, your funniest story? Any crazy, just like, what the heck's going on? Altercations.
As I said earlier, semi-pro is full of crash outs, some delinquents. So I've been in some scuffles. We played, I won't use names, but we played a team near Cincinnati. Columbus team played a team near Cincinnati, and it takes one person to shove. Not a punch is thrown, but just a shove. Both sidelines clear. I try to stay out of fights. I don't like. I got a job tomorrow. Like I'm not like. I don't need to go to jail. If you swing on me, I'm gonna swing back, and I've definitely been in some scuffles. But I try to stay out of fights. This is one I was able to stay out of. So it's not really my story, but the amount of left hooks that I've seen dudes take, not right hooks, left hooks, just left and right, to where these sidelines cleared. One guy gets hit with a left hook. Cool, nothing crazy. Another guy gets hit with a left hook. Nothing crazy. This is guys on my team. This ain't even guys on the other. We were not winning at first. But then it took one guy to grab a helmet and Myles Garrett probably 7 different players just swing, swing, swing. It was assault with a deadly weapon, but
Did he get charged?
no charges because by the time the cops get there, everything's situated. But what's crazy about the story is he was literally hitting guys with helmets. And the thing I love about life sometimes, and people are going to be like, this doesn't make any sense, but every person on both teams by the end of it was sitting there drinking beers like it was absolutely like nothing happened. Just talking, oh, bro, you got me with a good one. Oh, you hit me with that helmet? Man, that was crazy, man. Here's a beer. Here's cheers. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we're at a point now where again, I'm pro violence out here only on Saturdays, but you can really get into fights with people, get your anger out. Y'all was frustrated about something else. Y'all was frustrated, but then at the end of it, I mean, that was a good shot. Like, it was decent. All right, you want a beer? I'll drink a beer.
Were you one of those guys, or were you like, what the heck's going on?
I said that I saw somebody do the swinging. I've been kicked out of games for doing. I mush people. I'm really bad about if I think you're holding me for this much too long, I'm not gonna punch you, but I'm gonna mush you really hard. And it may be confused as a punch, but I don't swing at people. I don't fight.
Well, even just this last practice, I made the one corner on the one side mad. I kept blocking him, and I got to a point where he was trying to run instead of just smacking my hands down, and he just elbowed me in the throat for like 3 plays in a row, and I was very not happy about that one.
Elbow him back.
I did. I gave him a good shove. I was like, all right, third time.
No. You said shove. I said elbow him back.
Next practice, I'll target him. Just a flying elbow.
Too late. See, this is the time where you kumbaya. You could have been having, you don't drink, but y'all could have cheered some waters after.
Kool-Aid jammers.
Like, hey, you got me good. I got you good. You got me good. It's too late now. Next practice, it never happened. Yeah. It's been expunged.
But because the alcohol hasn't been shared yet, I can still,
Nope.
Okay.
Time ran out.
Okay. That's fine.
So now you have to be a bully and start a fight. If you go back into it, you're the bully now.
Okay.
You started the fight.
That's what I'm known for, so let's go for it. And to end this podcast, I have some rapid fire questions that I want to ask Ben.
Okay.
So, starting off, I have 4. And we're starting off with the first one, which is how you do things normally.
Let's go.
Favorite football player of all time?
Tom Brady.
What's the funniest or wildest DM you've received from a fan?
Asking for my jock strap. That's crazy work.
Did you say how much, or did you even respond?
He said, hey, are you selling some gear? I said, oh, what kind you look? Because I do sell gear. Like, I sell gear. And it was a weird question, but I was like, yeah, what are you looking for? He was like, jock strap or your pants? And I was like, oh, you want them used? And he was like, yeah. And I just never responded. Like, it's weird. It's fucking weird. It's crazy. But you asked.
If you could play any other sport professionally, what would it be?
Golf.
That's a great answer. I feel like every football player's. I feel like every pro athlete's answers that. Honestly,
if I don't have to get hit all the time, I mean, it's different. Like, I like it, but I really, when you hit a good flush golf shot, it's better than sex.
You see me top golf, and I think I had like one good swing the whole day.
It feels good. Like, it's just when you hit it flush, you put it on the green from 160 yards, and everybody's like, that was you? It feels good. It feels good.
Golfing vlog with Pac-Man Benny coming soon.
Let's get it.
What's one thing people don't know about you that you want them to know?
I'm actually a nice guy. People think I'm a jerk, but
I would absolutely say that I think at least a lot of my friends, like, they're like, why do you work with this guy? He seems very. I'm like, he's one of the coolest people I've met.
I swear I'm a nice guy, but not everybody can handle. I'm an honest person. I am a little blunt, but people like to make jokes, and then I make jokes, and maybe I make bad jokes, but maybe I get too personal. But if you make a joke, I'll make a joke back. Not everybody can handle that.
Yeah, I think it's also the part of you only have your football personality on YouTube rather than like your sit down.
No, I think people put me on. I work in medical sales. I'm not like. I speak a little proper. My voice ain't that deep. So people think like I'm an easy target sometimes. And I think that, and they're also like, oh, you're a professional. Like, you don't talk like this. And I'm like, no, I'll roast the hell out you. Like, I'll roast the hell out. But I'm not, but I'll also give you the shirt off my back. So I'm like, people think I'm a jerk, but I really don't give a fuck. I don't care. He asked, what do I want people to know? I promise I'm a nice guy.
Fire.
But if you don't like me,
I like Pack Money Benny.
I appreciate that.
And with that, we're going to close out the podcast. I want to thank Pack Money Benny again for coming on and being on the channel.
This was fun.
His clips will obviously be on his page, so please go check him out. I'll tag his channel in my page. Go check him out on all platforms. He's on everything.
Shout out CF3. This is fire. I like what he's doing here.
Appreciate it, man.
Shout out to my suite. You can see the bed in the back.
I'm so jealous. It's awesome. But kind of what's next for Pack Money Benny, and then we can close out. What do you have up and coming? Any videos? What's next subscriber goal?
April. What is it? 16th, 19th? No, I can't remember the exact date. Mid-April, 7-on-7, Team Benny versus Team Drizzy Pope, CF3, special guest referee. I got some heavy hitters. Pope got some good football players in the semi-pro realm. I got some real-life celebrity heavy hitters. Ooh. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going to be 7-on-7. We're going to live stream it. We're going to, the clips will be posted if you can't catch a live stream, but everybody doing these celebrity flag football games, and they don't even play football. How that work? So we going to actually play some football. 7-on-7 style, though. No flags. I hate flag football. Do you like flag football?
I mean, I think I can get behind it, but I
hate
hidden.
it. I hate it. It's just, I hate it for me. I love people who want to compete in it. I love anything people want to compete at.
Yeah.
But I really hate flag football.
Well, I just think, you said it's tagging off, right? We're tagging off with one hand.
Yes.
That can get a little touchy. I touched him. So it's like, it can get a little touchy.
Yeah, but I think also.
No pun intended.
Touche. Yeah, there's something about reaching for a flag that is just not, it doesn't sit well with me. Because gotcha. I'm like, there has to be something about crossing the middle on a slant that scares you. Mm. If I can cross the middle on a slant without fear, just frolicking, then it's not football. Just call it flag ball, and I can get behind it. Flag football should be called flag ball, and I can get behind it.
Completely change
hot
the
take.
title.
That's my hot take.
It's all about titles, man. The way you view things.
It's my hot take.
Ben's a perfect example of that. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you. I appreciate Ben one more time. One more time for the one time. We'll catch y'all, boys, in the next one.
It's Pack Money.
Peace.
I ain't going to do that.